Hi, my name is Will Nunziata, and I'm a New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film. And I'm also a proud FENIX Global Artist Ambassador. I cannot wait to speak with FENIX's latest celebrity artist, a Tony Award winner, Emmy nominee, and my friend, Cady Huffman. Before I speak with her, take a sneak peek at Cady's amazing talent. Well, hello, Cady. How are you?
Well, hello, Will Nunziata. I'm very well. How are you?
Oh, just here talking with one of my besties who happens to be, I don't know, Tony Award winner, Emmy nominee, Drama Desk and Outer Critics Award winner as well, I believe.
Yeah, all those things are true, among a few little others.
Will, there are others.
Well, let's go on and on.
You also happen to be one of the kindest people I know, and I'm so thrilled to always be talking with you, my oft collaborator as well. But I want to begin at the beginning. I know the story, but a lot of people out there might not. Where did Cady grow up, and when did she know that she had this flair for the artistic?
Well, I grew up in Santa Barbara, California, born and raised. I believe I was born doing this. There wasn't much prodding by my mother. There was much more begging by me. Starting around 3 to get into ballet class. We sang around the house. I danced around the house. I did a first workshop when I was 6, acting workshop. And then at 7, my mother, who had also trained in New York City with the School of American Ballet and other places, she was looking for the right ballet teachers. So finally at 7, for my 7th birthday, she put me in ballet class with the Hanlons, a married couple. And that's where I first fell in love with how much training goes into this profession. And I just continued that at 9. I started, there was a very well-known soprano who lived in my town, Laura Stover Dolis, who was old enough to be the first voice sent via vacuum tube in like Pittsburgh or something. Oh, wow. And when I was 9, she asked to coach me in classical singing. So I just was always doing it, and at a very world-class level, which I had no idea at the time until I got out of Santa Barbara, which I couldn't wait to get out of Santa Barbara, and fell into this professionally. Went, oh wow, I'm prepared for this, and was surrounded by peers, and I've just loved being one of those people, which oftentimes just humbles me. I'm like, what am I doing here singing with all these people? But apparently that's what I do. Yeah. Well, so I was one of those weird children who knew what she wanted to do growing up.
But you were also supported. And on top of that, Cady, you mentioned the work. And that's what when I think of Cady Huffman, all awards and showbiz aside, you're a woman about the craft and the work. And it's always been about the work when we're in a room, right? It's always about what's the best, most excellent work that we can do. And no matter, of course, you're an award-winning producer as well, director as well, writer as well, because you've been building your craft in ballet, in singing, in directing, in producing, because you've worked with the best on all levels. You look at let's talk about not only, I want you to talk about your Broadway debut, and then also the fact that you worked on Bob Fosse's first show, and then part of a few juggernauts that are in American musical theater history.
Yes, well, let's clarify, it was Bob Fosse's last show.
What did I say?
He said his first show.
Oh my God, Freudian slip. Your first show and last show was
amazing. I look amazing. I'm 103 years old today. But no, I worked on his very last original musical on Broadway. Somewhere in there was a question. Oh, the training. Yeah, I tell you, especially as I get older, the only thing in this business that truly makes me happy is the work, you know, and working with the best and the brightest and the kindest. I've been in the rooms. It's certainly fun to win awards, and I would not mind winning more awards, but ultimately it's not what makes me happy. Now this is where you sort of get into the conundrum of, well, if I win more awards, I get to do work more, you know, so there is certainly value to winning awards and being on a bigger stage. But truly, every single time, it is the work that makes me happy. You know, this is when time can stop. You know, I remember rehearsing with my jazz band a few years ago. 3 hours went by in a snap. Like, where does that time go when you're so, you know, infused in what you love to do? That for me is happiness. Whereas, you know, having to put on makeup to do interviews, to audition, to blah, 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 that's the work part. That's the work I have to do to be able to be happy and do what I do.
Well, if there's anyone in this business that has taught me, and I've told you this offline, so you know I'm not BSing you, talking about just being in the moment and not worrying about the superfluous, but just about, you know, just doing the thing with whatever energy you can and the best that you can bring to that one rehearsal at a time. It's you, Cady, because I think about, in terms of the talent you've surrounded yourself with, your Broadway debut in La Cage aux Folles, you have, you know, Arthur Lawrence, Harvey Fierstein, you have, you know, you have in obviously Big Deal, you have Bob Fosse, you have Will Rogers Follies, you're surrounded by Tommy Tune, Cy Coleman, Betty Comden, Adolph Green, and then, oh, I don't know, that juggernaut called The Producers and Mel Brooks, where you originated the role of Ulla. Now, you have so many great showbiz stories, but I love it, this one in particular. I want to know about Mel Brooks, what he said to you. Was it one of the presentations of The Producers when he came to you and said something?
Well, yeah, we had, you know, I mean, it's a great and long story for another time, but yeah, we did 2 presentations in one day on April 9th, 2000. It snowed in the morning and then cleared up to this beautiful day. We had rehearsed for 4 or 5 days just to get down what was already a perfect script and funny songs. And after the first reading for Suits, you know, the room full of suits that are normally rather stoic, not always the most giving audience members, they are purple in the face laughing. They are just laughing so hard. So we did one reading with, you know, Anne Bancroft sitting about three feet off of my left knee. And after that first reading, Rocco Landisman offered the St. James Theater to Mel on the spot.
Wow.
And then we took a little break. We had a little lunch. We came back. We did it again. And after that, Mel came up to me and said, "Kid, when it goes, you're in." And that was April. And by December, we were rehearsing. And by May, we had made history. Crazy.
That's amazing, Cady. And, you know, talk about someone who's obviously, you've had so many successes in this business, but you've remained true to the little girl about the work. And I not only think about FENIX and, you know, an audience and a more of a global audience that you already, beyond what you already have in terms of a fan base, but, you know, we were talking offline too. You know, when we were talking about the idea that FENIX is going to help connect a lot of artists who might not have ties to the East, you kind of have ties to the East in a way.
I do. I absolutely do. Again, I'm you know, pre-social media. I did this wonderful series of concerts in Singapore with Lil Ace White and Judy Kuhn. I think we were called the Divas of Broadway. So I had that amazing chance to fly with my mother and stay in Singapore for about a week and do a few concerts. And then I also went to Taiwan with my friend Welly Yang, who is Taiwanese, and did a couple of concerts there. So they tend to be Chinese speaking countries. So I get to practice my little bit of Chinese. I say, "Ni hao, Jina po," you know, and they go crazy when you speak Chinese, which I love because I love language and I just love the people I meet whenever I go to Asia. And I've traveled a little bit to Japan. I've done karaoke throughout China, and I've backpacked through Vietnam. And I just love Asia. And it's so interesting because, I can now, with social media, even though I am not, my, Broadway show, the big one, was not on it, people can still direct message me, ask me questions. So I get questions from Australia, Ireland, Japan about playing Ulla, which I just love more than anything, because I think she's a character that should be fully fleshed out. I think she's a real woman. I think she's exceptional. And, unfortunately, she's also sexy, which in our culture can often mean one note. And, I love to talk to young performers about creating characters that live and breathe and are human and have feelings, and they fall in love and make mistakes and do all those things.
Well, listen, Cady, I can talk to you forever. I want people to not only read the bio below, more about you, but, whether it be Ulla and the producers or Peggy Lee that you played, that you co-conceived, co-wrote with me. I was so fortunate to direct you as leading lady, Peggy Lee, that we hope to do further. You add humanity to any character you do. And by the way, that character also includes director, writer, and producer. And when I think about the opportunity FENIX is going to do for someone so acclaimed as you, is to just even broaden your horizons that much more, as for potential collaborations and for, potential stories, because you're a storyteller, meeting people that you could tell their stories. And whether it's English or Chinese, that great humans are transcendent. That's a universal language. And I'm just excited that, an app like FENIX is going to be able to, broaden already a very broad audience.
Who you call it abroad? It sounds amazing. I do love being in touch with people who are creating. I love telling stories. I love helping people tell stories. So absolutely, if that's what this is going to do, I'm all in. I love it.
Well, I love you, my friend. Thank you for speaking with me today.
In the digital age, artists and bands struggle to make a living. In fact, only a small number of artists can live off their craft. For the 98% of artists that don't have the luxury of being signed to a label, it's tough. But artists deserve to live off their art. Wherever you are around the world, appreciation of music does not change. FENIX brings bands and their fans together, whilst allowing bands to properly monetize their passion. The FENIX app will directly connect bands and fans with no need for middlemen. We're utilizing the blockchain to give the power back to the artist once and for all. Join FENIX, join the change.